So why buy a Lexus GX470? Why not a 460? Well, maybe you can. 460s are still pretty expensive, like $30,000 and up. I haven't seen too many under $30,000. Now, I will tell you how much I paid for this. 2006 with 207,000 miles on it. Timing belt was just replaced, and it was in Texas, and it was like on a dealer only website. I have a friend who's a dealer, and if you'd like to buy a vehicle, let me know. I can connect you with him. He does like custom car buying. So you tell him what you want, and you tell him what your budget is too, and he'll just find you a car. You don't have to go through the painstaking process of going to different dealers and searching for cars and talking with salesmen. It's kind of an antiquated system. And I know there's like apps and companies that bring cars to your house now and things like that, and I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know if that grew out of people's reaction to COVID and being scared of other human beings, or if that's something that we're just that lazy that we don't even want to leave our house to buy a car. It just seems ridiculous. So anyway, I digress. So my friend, his name is Russ, and he bought this Lexus Buy It Now, and his price delivered to me is $6,800, and I have to turn around because I'm in somebody's driveway. It's like a one-way road. I'm sure that happens a lot, and they probably get pretty annoyed by it. And they probably like to shoot these cars with paintball guns, because that's what I would have done when I was a teenager. So anyway, so his price delivered to me, my pickup price, was $6,800. And I got it 2 years ago, so we're talking 2020, just before COVID happened, before the pandemic, and before prices went crazy. And I would say at that time, this car was still a little underpriced because it said on there that it had a paint job, like, that had been repainted. But the pictures looked okay. But there are some touch-up spots where it's not great. And, you know, for what I wanted, it was perfect, because I was planning on, I had just come back from Big Bend in my F-250, and if you've ever been to Big Bend, then you know that when you come home, your car is pinstriped. And I had some pinstripes on my truck. You really can't see them now, so I don't know if it just sort of left a mark, maybe on the surface, I'm not sure. But I've bought this car fully intending on scratching it, maybe even pushing it up against a tree on a trail, maybe getting some dents in it. To me, almost like the worse shape it's in, the better, because the price comes down for what I want. So it was perfect for me. And so, like, at that time, this same vehicle was probably worth maybe like $12,000. So I didn't get this thing at half price, but pretty close to half price. I would say that's pretty close. And the reason I went Lexus is simple. I can't afford a Toyota. So if you know anything about luxury brands, you know that they go down in value. And old luxury cars you can pick them up super cheap. And I think a lot of the reason for that is that they have extra stuff on them. Like, this Lexus has heated seats and memory seats and things like that. Well, one of the windows doesn't go down. So I need to replace a motor in one of the windows. And actually, it worked fine until, I don't know, our last trip. We went to South Dakota up to the Black Hills. And then all of a sudden, my daughter was like, hey, I can't roll my window down. It's like, oh, let me roll your window down for you. Oh, I can't roll your window down either. So I'm not sure what that's all about. And it could just be a switch, but neither my switch nor her switch works. So it's probably the motor. And the memory seats don't work. So that's a first world problem right there. I mean, if my wife drives the car, she has to manually adjust the powered seats. That's tragic. I don't really know how we get by, but somehow we do. And another problem these Lexus GX470s has is that the dash is cracked. And apparently there was a warranty, and you can do your own research, because I did my own research and I don't remember exactly what I discovered, but there was a moment where if you got it in for warranty by a certain date, it was a free replacement, and that has come and passed. So basically, you needed a well-educated Lexus owner who took their car to the dealer for regular maintenance, and they would have probably got a new dash. And that's what happened with this car. So I'm only the third owner of this car, and the first owner had it for like the longest time. Like, I don't know, like over 10 years. And I think that's probably pretty common for people that buy brand new, expensive vehicles, especially like a Lexus or even a super high-end, like a really well-equipped 4Runner. Probably going to keep it forever because they don't really break. I mean, when the miles get up on them, yeah, they're going to start having issues probably, but this thing is just solid. And so back to my buddy Russ. So when he buys a car, he sends it through his brother's shop. So his brother has a mechanic repair shop. So they get the car, and immediately it goes to the shop, and they will fix anything that's wrong with it if it needs it. Like if it's something simple, probably they wouldn't do it. But this car was leaking oil out of the rear seal of the engine. So I think that was about a $500 deal to replace. They had to drop the transmission, take out a cross member to do that. I mean, it looked pretty intense. I went and looked at it while it was on the lift, because the mechanic said that this car was like super clean. I mean, it's a Texas car, no rust on the undercarriage. Like, this thing is pretty solid, and to me that was just a bonus, because I didn't know that it was in amazing condition when I got it. I bought it from the internet. So anyway, that was nice to see. But I still think, even though people are charging a lot of money, like the value of everything has gone up. Let me correct that statement. The dollar has gone down in value so much that it takes more of them to buy the same thing that you needed 2 years ago. So you needed something, you just needed less money to get it. So the product itself probably hasn't gone up in value. It's just that the dollar has gone down in value. I guess that being said, yeah, there's some shortage with chip manufacturer and cars are hard to get. So trucks went up in value like $7,000 each, like just for no reason at all. Just they're worth more money now. So there's that. And I guess in my case, the Lexus GX470 has gone up in value. I don't know if you can pick one up for less than $12,000. And I was actually looking today, and I saw one same year as mine with less miles, but it was $20,000. So considering I got this for $6,000, I'd say I'm doing pretty well. And next time I have a video update, you know, the modifications that I'm doing to the Lexus exceed the value of the car, or at least what I paid for it. And I've already got some parts, so I already have either spent the money, and whether or not I've installed them, I've already spent more on parts for my car than the car cost. So I don't know, maybe that's how you know if you're a redneck. I don't know, but maybe that's how you know if you're an overlander, if you spend more money on parts than you do for your car. I'm not sure, but that's where I'm at on this thing. So anyway, it is a great vehicle. You know, if you are looking for a car to go off-roading like I was, and I wanted a dedicated overland rig so that it's ready to go at all times, I do not need it for a daily driver. I understand a lot of people probably can't do that. Most people only can afford one car per adult driver, and that's completely understandable. So, you know, that's something to consider. But for us, this car is not a daily driver. I mean, we'll take it to church every once in a while, but I do not drive this car at all, unless we're on vacation. So if we're on a trip, we'll load it up and we'll go. Or we'll go camping here in Kansas, maybe go out to the pasture and stay at night, ride four-wheelers, whatever, something like that. So when you're looking for a vehicle, obviously you're going to look at Jeeps, and you're going to see that Jeeps are super expensive. And I had a mechanic tell me, don't buy a Jeep. They leak oil, they break, but they are awesome. I mean, who is going to sit here and tell me that Jeeps are not one of the coolest vehicles you can buy? I mean, they are just awesome. And the fact that they're one of 3 vehicles currently manufactured and sold that have a solid front axle from the factory, that's pretty cool. So if you get the Rubicon, you know, it's a pretty nice car. But I've also been told if you plan on modifying your Jeep, don't waste your money on the Rubicon, because the reason it's expensive, because it has all these parts, but like they're not good enough for most Jeep guys, so they just rip all that stuff off anyway and put bigger stuff. Like if you're going to do a solid, like an axle swap to a 1-ton axle swap, something like that, then having a Rubicon would actually kind of work against you, because you'd be removing expensive parts. So anyway, so Jeeps are nice, but I still think I not really a Toyota guy, but like, I'm probably a Toyota guy. I've never personally owned Toyotas, but obviously we've seen what Land Cruisers can do, and we've seen them in Africa. You know, I've been to Africa. I have seen Toyotas with the 4.7 liter V8 with 400,000 miles plus, maybe 600,000 miles plus. I've seen awesome Toyota Tundras and Toyota Land Cruisers that are beat to hell, and they are still running because they are a fantastic drivetrain. And that's what I was looking for, was a vehicle that, yeah, it will probably break down. It will probably need replaced. Some parts will need replaced. Possibly someday the engine or the transmission, I don't know. But it is just such a solid vehicle, and this 4.7 liter, it pulls really well. I mean, it has really good power for highway driving, and in 4-low going up a mountain, it's got plenty of power. I was never left with the feeling of needing more. I always felt like it had enough. And I think that's a pretty good place to be if you're a car, is that you have enough. You don't got too much. I mean, you could always have more, but it's a great off-road vehicle. Put it in 4-low, lock the center diff. You've got 50% of your power going forwards, 50% going to the rear, no matter what. So no matter what, you at least have two-wheel drive, one wheel in the front and one wheel in the back, spinning. Get lockers for it. Relatively inexpensive. I think maybe $1,000 a locker, or $1,000 an axle. So that's something you could do to make it a little bit more capable. It's nice that it has leather. Also, I think the frame, or like the walls on this thing, they're foam filled, and so it's a quiet vehicle. I mean, there's probably a lot of road noise where I'm on this video because I am driving on a gravel road. So, but it is just a quiet vehicle, and it is just fantastic. So if you are looking for an off-road vehicle and you've come across this video, and if you've made it to the end of this video, I don't know what that says about you, but I guess you wanted to hear what I had to say. So thank you for making it to the end of the video. All one of you. Grandma, you know who you are. So I love you, and thank you, and subscribe, and we'll see what happens. I might get 5 subscribers and call it a day. I might get more than that, I don't know. So until next time, have a great day. See ya.